Good evening, everybody. Happy, almost Joyeux Noel, almost Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. I just wanted to do a quick wrap up. I think we basically covered most of what went on this week in Harvey and the Southland. I just wanted to touch base and then remind you guys of what's going on, what will be going on this week. So, to start, let me see here. Why is that popping up? We have some breaking news from the village of South Holland. Some good news, which is not always common, right? So according to the village of South Holland, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a murder. It says, excuse me, this is from the South Holland Facebook page. Oops, how do I zoom in? There we go, okay. Arrest made in murder of South Holland teen Devell Holden. Following a massive investigation with thousands of man-hours invested, the village of South Holland is pleased to announce that 3 individuals have been taken into custody with the August 2nd murder of 16-year-old Devell Holden, which occurred on the 160th block of Drexel Avenue. The adult suspects have been identified as 21-year-old Javon Moore and 20-year-old Damon Smith. The third suspect is a 16-year-old juvenile, so his name is not being released at this time. All 3 reside in Phoenix, Illinois. Javon Moore, who is the alleged shooter, has been charged with first-degree murder by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. Damon Smith and the juvenile have been charged with felony murder. Disgustingly, this is a case of mistaken identity. The victim, Devell Holden, happened to be visiting his girlfriend who lived on the same street as where the actual intended target recently lived, and he closely resembled him in appearance. Now an innocent and promising young man is gone. And again, this is according to the village of Southland. This was a tragic and sickening incident. While we're grateful to have made the arrests, we're deeply saddened for Devell's family and friends, said South Holland Mayor Don DeGraff. No family should ever experience this kind of loss, and our community stands with them during this difficult time. The village of South Holland wants to publicly express our gratitude to the members of the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force, which includes partners from the Illinois State Police, our own South Holland detectives, as well as detectives from numerous South suburban municipalities. In addition, the village is grateful for the significant effort exerted by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office that culminated in these charges being filed. Village Administrator Jay Weinsma commented that South Holland is a community of faith, family, and future. This type of heinous crime will never be tolerated here. Highlighting the seriousness of the matter is the fact that the village offered a cash reward and partnered with Father Flager, who jointly offered a reward for information leading to an arrest. South Holland Police Chief Sean Staples said, "From the moment the crime occurred, we were determined to bring the offenders to justice. We will always pursue such offenders and put them behind bars. Our residents deserve nothing less. Anyone with additional information related to this case is asked to contact South Holland Police Detectives at 708-331-3131, extension 2. So, obviously I can't speak, I can't say that I was there firsthand or something, to give that account, but I did want to share that. I had shared that on Facebook earlier today too when I saw that. So hopefully, they got the right people. Hopefully the family gets a measure of justice from that horrible murder in South Holland. Yeah. So we don't really have a ton of murders in the Southland. It's not like it's an everyday thing, but they do happen occasionally. But I always say, it could happen anywhere. Excuse me. I guess in this case, it was a, case of mistaken identity. me just let one of my Harvey groups know that I'm live now. If anybody wants to say hey. Harvey groups know that I'm live. No, I didn't want to do that. Oop. Okay. Oh, and then French messaged me, I'm live. Let's see if you... French, I saw your cat video the other day. That was fun. Okay. So... actually, does it go to my story? Let me add it to my story. Well, let me add it to my story. Your cat's still alive now. Bonsoir. Does your cat have like a 24/7 cat cam? La caméra de chat? How do I do this? Cat TV. Ooh, that's hilarious. How do I share on my page that I'm live? Oh, okay, it did share there. Okay. Oh yeah, I wanted to try sharing it on the Harvey Historical Society page. That's what I wanted. So, is it really cold there, Francois? Because it's been very cold here the past few days. Although it is supposed to finally warm up, but ooh, it's been too cold too early. We usually don't get like 10 degrees Fahrenheit here this early in the year. Okay, good. I shared that. All right, so that I wanted to share for sure. It's 5 or 10 below Celsius there. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure because it's further north and east, But yeah, okay. My heat's working. I heard that we do have an emergency shelter in Markham Courthouse. So if anybody doesn't have anywhere to go or you see someone outside, but I really wish we had one in Harvey. That's something that I would like to see our government do. We should have a warming shelter. Whether it's one of the police station. Well, the police station is not very welcoming or in good shape. But one of the fire stations or all the fire stations or city hall or something. But we should have warming shelters. I mean, you do see people on the street, even in Homeland. When I was shopping yesterday, I still saw 1 or 2 people, like standing in the road asking for money, and I'm like, oh, it's just dangerously cold. You cannot be out there, let alone all the poor animals. We don't have animal control, so. Yeah, I feel bad. Oh, yeah, in an emergency, send people to Clark's house. Exactly, because more than likely he's not there anyway. He's at his other home or his wherever he stays in Chicago or wherever. Hey, French and Ryan. Hey, Wyoming. Bonsoir. Good evening to you on the West Coast there. There was somebody else. Ah, yes. So as you know, in the past week we had oops, no, that wasn't the video I wanted. Sorry. We had what meetings did we have? We started off the week this past Monday. We were supposed to have a Harvey City Council meeting. We have been this is the second month that we have had no city council meetings. So that's pretty crazy. We're in a crisis. The mayor has laid off almost half of our staff. He is MIA, and we're not having meetings. This is not good. Chicago too gonna close the city soon. Oh, we have Egan warning centers where I live. Mostly churches. They open up when it freezes overnight. Used to work for the nonprofit runs up. Oh, okay, okay, that's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, yeah, because I feel bad. I feel like it should just be they should be everywhere and they should be easily accessible and it shouldn't be. But those are the types of things that really get on my nerves. Like instead, you see like different boards, or let's say Thornton Township or whatever, or like I said, all the boards. Harvey Park District, Harvey Library, maybe the city. They'll hand out turkeys on Thanksgiving. They'll give out some gifts at Christmas. Like they do these things, but I feel like it's more so just to oftentimes to try to get bonus points or like bribe people, instead of like, well, what about you really know if government's doing the right thing, if they uh by seeing how the government or whatever board you're dealing with, how they treat people that may not be able to give back or may not be able to vote for them. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I think of. I'm like, but what about all the people on our streets? Like they're freezing, they may not have food. um so yeah, good. That's awesome, Wyoming, that they have that. Happy holidays, everyone. Hope all is well. Hey, Crook. Bonsoir. Good evening. But yeah, thank God I have heat. My dog and I have heat. So on Monday we did not have city council meeting, but I covered the 152 school board meeting. I protested, but they still voted to raise our taxes. Don't forget. I think did I share the video with you guys, right? That board, don't forget that board is Casey Nesbitt, who's also involved with DOTS, Democrats of Thornton Township, and she's also the clerk for Thornton Township. She's also on that board, the 152 school board. So you see a pattern of a lot of these boards. They've got to get the tax levy increase passed before the end of the year if they want to be able to take more of our money. And so they're all pushing to do that. I did protest. Unfortunately, they voted anyway to increase our taxes. They know people on the street don't go vote. Exactly. That I think that they say that's the definition of a good like moral society, right? Like how are people treated? How are people? You might as well say animals too, right? How does a society treat people or animals that cannot give anything back? People that are and animals that are creatures that are totally vulnerable. That's a good test of is your society compassionate and ethical, things like that. Wyoming and French, working on adult and leaving here now. Oh, you better be careful, Crook. If you need to come warm up, you can come visit me. come warm up in Harvey. It's too cold. It's too cold for me to do anything. I'm telling you, it's too cold. Although I did walk the dog today. I did a few things outside, but not very much. I'll tell you. I even tried to save some money and some energy and hung some clothes out to dry, channeling my dear 96-year-old grandmother who, was married in Harvey and raised all of her kids in the school here, the Catholic school here, and everything. But she tells me, she always used to use the lines outside, and so then in the winter, all your clothes would just be really stiff. So I did put my stuff out for a while, but eventually I just brought it in. I actually have, because I like the old-fashioned ways of doing things anyway. Someone in my 1920s house already had those lines up in the basement, so I just put some things up down there to dry, and it works. Hey, Paul. Good evening. Bonsoir. Hello, everyone. I hope Ryan and I aren't the only commenters at tomorrow's Thornton Township Board meeting. Exactly, yes. And I'm going to discuss that tonight as well. We're going to talk about the week to come as well as the week that just passed. Society may be cruel, but love rules. I hope so. Where are all those pro-Dot Slate and Clean House Pro supporters why don't you see them at any meetings anymore? That's what I want to know. Be careful, Crook and Dalton. It's not Tiffany that shovels the snow. No, it's Kiana. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who shovels the snow. I don't know who. I wonder. We should ask Dalton residents. I wonder if the snow, like if that sort of stuff is if they feel it has improved with the new administration. That'd be a good question to ask. We have had, when we had the big snow. We only had really one real significant snow so far. But I said I did see plows here, surprisingly, but no salting. So it's still, you just have to be really careful on the streets. But yes, I agree, Crook, and I'm sure Paul's asking the same thing. So anyway, the 152 meeting, they increased our taxes this week. Then on Tuesday, I attended one of the objection hearings for Napoleon. He's running for Thornton Township Committeeman. Again, it's been well established that Mr. Harris does not live in Thornton Township. So it seems that unfortunately the Democratic machine is still covering for him. But there is one more hearing this coming Tuesday at noon. I don't have high hopes for that, unfortunately. We had a Harvey Neighborhood Network meeting this past Wednesday, so that was good. Also, if you have not paid your property taxes, you have till tomorrow before you get late fees incurred. They're due December 15th. So please pay your property taxes. I know that's like the worst thing to have to think of because of all these horrible boards that waste our money. Also, pay your Harvey water bill if you haven't done that already. On Thursday night, we were supposed to have a Harvey Library Board meeting where they were also going to vote on increasing our taxes. And lo and behold, in the last minute, they decided to cancel. Isn't that interesting? And they rescheduled it for next Tuesday, in 2 days, which is when the Thornton Township meeting is at the same time. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like they're working together to try to keep people out of these meetings so that they can just raise taxes without any oversight. Isn't that interesting? Vivian had a hearing yesterday, but I think it was just for status. I did not. Did anybody watch it? I did not get a chance. I was doing just work and stuff. It was also our feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe on Friday. I know some people celebrate that. Okay, so that was the past week. Tomorrow, unless anybody knows about any meetings, I don't know of any meetings tomorrow night that we're supposed to have. Any big meetings. I doubt Kiana's out putting in work right now. She's probably on her third tree. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I don't know who clears the snow in Dalton. Dreaming about her city. Paul. People know that whatever they say at the meeting, it's not going to change anything. That might be true, but it doesn't matter. People better raise hell because they did it with Tiffany. Had to turn the temperature up. Don't want to come back to any broken pipes. Exactly. They were on top of it. Streets were plowed. Okay, that's good. Good to hear. All right. Good to hear. Then Tuesday at noon, like I mentioned, there's the last objection hearing for Napoleon will be at noon. Then I believe the township meeting will be at 6 o'clock Tuesday night, and the Harvey Library Board meeting will be at 6:30. So, pick one of those, but definitely both of those meetings, both boards are going to vote to increase our taxes. So that is something that we obviously don't want to see because there's just no accountability. Pretty much every year, most of the local boards here, they will raise the tax. They'll increase the tax levy. So they will raise our taxes instead of assessing us the same amount of taxes. Wednesday, I don't have any special meetings marked. Thursday, I am supposed to have court for Jedediah for my order, for my no contact order, hopefully early afternoon-ish. And then Friday at 10 a.m. So mine will be at the Pullman Courthouse, probably around 1:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. And on Friday at 10 a.m., Amir will have a hearing regarding Jedediah and his attacks and stalking and harassment and such at 10 a.m. at the Markham Courthouse. Then Saturday from 10 to 2, Colby Chapman in Harvey is going to be hosting with at least a few organizations, I believe. They're doing a toy giveaway. I know All McHugh has been fundraising or collecting toys for that as well, and Linus James Watson, one of the Harvey residents. So they have been working hard on that. If you want to help volunteer, I know they're asking people to sign up ahead of time, but Friday evening, you can show up at the Thornton Township High School field house to help wrap presents if you'd like. But then the actual gift giveaway event will be this Saturday, 10 to 2. I will be there. It's also my birthday, but I will be there. I told Colby that I would do a table with the Harvey Historical Society, just bring some old, photos and books and things and some fun things, maybe some stuff for kids to color. So I will be there that Saturday afternoon. That's about it, because then we start getting into Christmas time. Now, what is interesting is then that following Monday, we are supposed to have a Harvey City Council meeting, but if things keep going the way they're going, I doubt we're going to have one. So let me go back again. So we went over what happened and then what's going to happen the next week. But I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the 152 board meeting so you could see how that went. I don't have footage of the Napoleon hearing. What else did I take footage of? Oh yeah, and then the library meeting was canceled. Okay. Let's see. The weather by home's been somewhat warm. My Camilla bush started blooming last month, and my cousin's rose bush bloomed. We're expecting a week of rain. Oh my goodness, it must be mild there then. Yeah, it's a lot colder here. I bought a toy at All McHugh Amazon wish list for the toy drive, but I got a message from Amazon that said the carrier couldn't deliver. Oh, that is strange. Okay. I'm sure she's got a whole bunch of ideas, you mean? Waiting on approvals? What were you talking about? You live too far. Approval. Haha. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing, I guess, with Amazon, is that they're supposed to have that stuff in warehouses nearby, too, right? I tried watching her live for the school board, but the sound was low. That's okay. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, because I had made a short video on YouTube, and I'll pull that up right now, just showing, basically that they voted to increase our taxes, and then my public comment. Yeah, so I know people are scared, or they feel like it won't make a difference if you come out to the public meetings. I promise you, even if no one says anything to you, even if you don't make a comment, when people show up at these meetings, it does make a difference. Do not buy into the cynicism, because that is how these out of control authorities, that's how they continue to wreak havoc in our communities, because they want people to be cynical. Okay, so we can't let them do that, guys. So so I did post the full meeting video that I took, Wyoming, but I'm also going to pull this up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, I don't want it that big. How do I get it? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I like the theater mode. Okay, so perfect timing, because we can watch it right now. Oops, I don't want that though. All right, so this was from last Monday, the 152 school board meeting. Harvey 152 school board raises taxes again, has no answers for how to reduce the huge burden on residents. This is the board that I ran for this year. I lost because the four incumbents, even though they don't necessarily all get along, they made sure to close ranks and to make sure that me and the other two people, the new people, that we did not get in. Because remember, this is the board with the $1.5 million worth of chicken wings that were stolen a few years ago when I think Casey Nesbitt was president. I have to see, but Casey Nesbitt, who's also the township clerk and works for DOTS, she was on the board. A lot of these people that are on the board now are still on the board. We never got real answers about what happened to the chicken or the money. One woman went to jail for it, and we know that it wasn't just a job for one woman. I'll take Harvey will have a meeting if you even see one in the beginning of the first quarter. Yeah. Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, if unless we force it, I doubt Clark is going to volunteer to have a meeting. bankrupt. However, I wanted to share that too. Just today, Colby Chapman shared a post saying, hey, Harvey can't levy taxes without having. That's why all these boards are trying to sneak in their last meetings. Okay, that's all is happening purposefully. Okay, you're not. They're not telling you. They're not trying to be too loud about these meetings because they've got to have them before the end of the year if they want to have a tax levy, which means to that legally allows them to take their share of our property taxes, right? So it's got to happen. So Colby posted something, and she's like, "Well, if we haven't had any public meetings and we haven't voted on I think a tentative budget or something, you have to vote on, or an appropriations bill. You have to vote on an appropriations bill, and then you have to vote on a tax levy. Then remember that happened last year with the township. Like if that happens for Harvey, if things keep going the way they're going for the end of the year, then we're not going to be able to take any taxes as income. So like that doesn't help anything. That's weird." But anyway, this is the 152 meeting, okay?
Question about the tax levy is what is the levy for 2026 versus 2025 as far as the percentage, and then how much has it increased? And then my other question is,
yeah. All right. So I know it's a little bit hard to hear. I apologize. You see, they have these wonderful microphones, and the only one who used it was the district finance lady. At the end is Janet Rogers. That's our Alderman Tyrone Rogers' wife. Then we have Linda Hawkins. We have Teresa Cameron. Sandra Contreras was absent. This is Joe Whittington here. I'm kind of blocking him. This is Casey Nesbitt. So this is Clerk Nesbitt on the township board, and she also serves on DOTS. And then Myra Gardner's here. This is the superintendent. I think she's special ed, and then the finance lady's here.
I know it's 3.6%, but I don't have the exact number of the difference. That was in the presentation. That right. It increased according to CPI, but that was in last month's presentation.
oh, okay, so the levy went up by 3.6%?
The total amount. So it's 2.9% CPI plus any property.
Okay. And then my other question was just to, because if you guys could put that stuff online, that would be great, because I know a lot of people are asking that. I will try to get around to FOIA. Other people will try to get around to FOIA, but we have our hands full with a very dysfunctional city government right now. So, but it would just be nice if it were online, so we didn't have to even bother before that.
It'll be posted online tomorrow.
Okay, wonderful. And then in the future, if we can do that before, just so people can know, because obviously we have a crisis right now, as you're well aware, in the township, in Cook County, Illinois in general, people are being crushed by their property taxes. So then my next question is, what can
and if you couldn't hear the doctor, it's Dana Nichols is her name. She's I think the finance director, but she said that she said, "Oh, okay, it'll be all the information will be online like the next day." She did email me some information, and I'm going to follow up with that. I have not done that yet, but I will.
Can you do? What are you doing as a board to actively actually decrease our property taxes? And then relates to other questions that I've raised in the past, like eliminating the expensive trips with board members, staying in fancy hotels, et cetera. But I mean, anything, whether it's small or big, can make a big difference to these, to all of us taxpayers. On our tax bills in Harvey, this district is number 3. So we pay the city first, then 205, then this board. And I will be paying 205 as well.
And I'm laughing because look at our township clerk, Miss Nesbitt, who used to be president of this board, the board that has the unsolved $1.5 million chicken wing scandal. Okay, she looks pretty bored as I'm saying this, but the whole point is they were not forthcoming with residents that they were going to raise our taxes again. And then at this meeting, because they're supposed to announce it and give an estimate of what the levy will be for the following year, and they're supposed to give at least 20 days, for the public to review it. Well, I mean, it wasn't real obvious. You had to have come in person to the meeting, or when I asked Dana Nichols, she said you had to have called their office. Otherwise, if you looked online, you know, or like there was nothing sent out in the mail. So these boards know this, and I think the law should change. I don't think it should be this way. But in the meantime, guys, you got to show up to the meetings. There was like nobody here.
But you know, whatever you can do, it's just really, 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 really important. Especially.
I mean, at least these guys are watching me as I'm talking, and Joe Whittington is watching. I mean, these taxes are crazy. People are losing their homes, and they're acting like it. And at least Miss Dasbridge, like she's bored. I'm like, this is really it's quite urgent, actually.
A lot of our elderly people, they're this close to losing their homes. I know several that have already sold and moved out. Now, unfortunately, they're not all as vocal as I am, or they're not all going to come to the meetings. But I don't think, especially if you're elderly and you've raised your kids and paid taxes here all these years, you shouldn't have to leave because your taxes are going up. So even if you guys can come down a little bit, I mean, that would make a difference, you know. But like I noticed last year for the 2024 levy, that was higher than, you know, the year before. So it gets up, you know, before you know it, it's just, that's how things are so out of control. So I think those are my main questions. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you.
Despite the fact that the desire of this board to increase our taxes again next year was not communicated clearly ahead of time before these meetings, the board went ahead and voted anyway to increase our taxes, which is absolutely insane.
The next item is the 2025 final levy resolution. The resolution is required to be on public display for 20 days. We have met that requirement.
I did reach out and ask the school district where the resolution noting the tax levy increase was on display, and I was told that anyone could have called the district for it. Right.
The resolution along with the levy certificate is in your packet for approval this evening.
So as far as I can tell, for you to even know that the district wanted to increase everyone's taxes, you had to have attended the prior meeting in person or have called the district office to ask. There was nothing posted online. And of course, you couldn't view the meeting minutes because the meeting minutes are always approved at the meeting after the current meeting. And then they're not posted till even after that. So it's very clear that this board did not want the community to know that their taxes were being increased.
Okay. There are 3 action items. The first item is the committee recommends approval of the final levy resolution.
So moved. Second. Call roll, please. Ms. Hawkins. Aye. Ms. Cameron. Aye. Ms. Gardner. Aye. Ms. Nesbitt. Aye. Mr. Whittington.
Aye.
President Rogers. Aye. Motion carried.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So now you can see how these boards get away with continuously raising our taxes. First of all, you discuss the increases at times that are not convenient for people to hear about it. You don't make it easily available online. You certainly don't send out any announcements or color brochures like you do when you're announcing, you know, that the band won an award or something. And, you know, the minutes aren't accessible. And then, you know, it's like by the time that people even might have a clue that that's going on, the vote's already taken place. And lo and behold, that's how your property tax bill goes up. So we do need people to ask more questions, to come out to these meetings and demand that the taxes not only not go up, but they need to either stay the same or even go down, because we are way overtaxed. And all these boards need to do a much better job of showing us that they are spending our money wisely, which almost no board in Harvey that I can think of is doing that.
Okay, so I hope that that was helpful for you. Oh yeah, I see, Kirk. Yep, about the meeting. Hydro Quebec says they want the people to forget to check if they're going to be a meeting to be able to trick you up. Exactly, you know, and so sometimes it's like, I think sometimes they do violate the law, but a lot of times it's not necessarily violating the law. I think the law should be stricter, but it's just it's definitely violating the spirit of any sort of law and transparency, right? Wyoming, if you ever want to send packages to the president, maybe next time you should have a sense of Ryan if he's okay with that, because I've had issues myself. Oh, okay. Well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, you could always reach out to Wyoming. That's true to me. Well, I watched our town meeting last week and everything rolled correctly. It's a pretty boring meeting. Okay, that's good. So, do they have a similar thing, Idrol, where they have to vote on increasing your taxes by the end of the year? I'm sure that maybe there's something like that. And hello, she. I'm guessing is that Stephanie. All right, so that was that. All right. So I hope that illustrates again, but not just how that meeting went, but how those meetings kind of do things. Then we had. Let me find here. Oops, go back to Facebook. Whee! And I'll show you guys what happened. And let me go to the Historical Society page. I think I've shared it on there for sure right now. Oh, we're up to 20, at least 2,400 members. Thank you, everybody, for staying involved. I appreciate it. We need everybody. Okay. Yes, quorum speaker, board approved the thing. Okay, but I mean, do you feel that in Quebec that they're giving you enough notice? Because I'm sure people there don't want their taxes to continually go up, right? I mean, is there enough of a chance for people to speak up and hold people accountable for how they're spending money? Doubt. Oh, okay, you're correcting yourself. Yeah. All right. So then we were supposed to have the library board meeting, and then guess what? Surprise, surprise! It didn't happen. So I did share, about it. I posted the agenda because you can see, here's the library. Approval of fiscal year 25-26 tax levy. Okay. So that was the main action item. And I had shared, I said, come and speak up tonight at 6 or pay more in taxes. It's very likely they're going to increase the taxes. Tell everyone to come out, be angry, say no, because it does make a difference. These boards don't have to increase their taxes. They do it because no one pushes back. Stand up for yourself or get taxed out of your home. So a good number of people did show up, and then we found out. I said the board canceled the last minute to avoid accountability. Meeting will instead be December 16th at 6:30 p.m. next Tuesday, same time as the township. Let me see, did I post the? Yeah, this is what we saw when we got there. Look at these people. Now this board, remember, it's run by the McCaskills. Okay, so Anthony McCaskill, Keisha's husband, is the president, and then there's also his daughter is on the board. One of their good close associates, Felicia Paula Johnson's on the board. Another lady, Angela. But basically, people that answer to the McCaskills other than Tamika Price and Chappelle Hooks. So we get to the library, and it says, we're canceling tonight's board meeting. The rescheduled, I think they meant, board meeting will be Tuesday, December 16th, 2026. They had a typo there. 6:30. Please post tonight's meeting is canceled and rescheduled, blah, blah, blah. So it was funny because I think some of the library must have just printed it out like that. We weren't supposed to see that whole thing. But yeah, so anyway, we did try. Oh, and then Chris Moore commented. I didn't even know. Chris Moore, I think, is standing up for the McCaskills right now. Let me see what he said. You say problems are different but more transparent. Okay, Idol. Well, Idol, you're going to have to give us an education one night on how things happen in Quebec, because I would be curious. Because I visited, but I don't really know much about the politics there. But let's see. Remember the guy that was trying to start a fight that it seemed as if the board brought him in to distract and start a fight with Keith Price. So this is Chris Moore's comment. Let's see what Mr. Moore said. Chris Clark's begging for $30 million. The McCaskill political family has accumulated in just over a decade more than that in 2 different Harvey, Illinois governments, because the McCaskills control the Harvey parks and the library boards. This is the little known fact, and I expect to fact check. The taxes were never raised on Harvey residents under the leadership of the McCaskill political family, and that's not true. It's amazing that everyone wants to raise awareness when just 4 years ago, KP was robbing the library blind, apparently and allegedly, buying for himself 2 fabulous homes in the state of Arizona with a close to $1 million price tag for the both of them. KP was over the library since 2013. It has never seen a dollar over 330 grand. But then, okay. So yeah, again, and the stuff about Price, I don't know. He's saying the allegations, but I don't see any proof. So let me see. Over 3 years under the leadership and fiscal responsibility of Anthony McCaskill, the library boasts a $3 million or more surplus with constant financial reports. It's not true. Open to the public, something that Harvey residents never see in Harvey City Hall. So I don't know what they're offering Mr. Moore, why he keeps going to bat for the McCaskills and stuff, but who knows, whatever. Are the McCaskills as afraid of participating in a public forum as Napoleon is? Absolutely. Oh yeah, they have. And I was reminded because I saw something the Harvey World Herald shared, but this past summer, actually, the president of the board, Anthony McCaskill, threatened from the dais, basically said that the Harvey World Herald, I guess, better stop talking about him or mentioning his name, because he was so upset that they were asking questions and and reporting particularly on the finances. But it's like, dude, you're a public official. You can't just say, don't talk about me. This isn't your private company. This is or your private household affairs. But so many McCaskills and their close associates are on both of these boards, and paid with our money with salaries and stuff. I mean, I guess maybe they do kind of view it as their family. That's how I felt at the township at the last meeting. It's like they've decided everything ahead of time, and then they don't want you to question things because you're taught we're treated as if we're intruding on a family business meeting, and that is not. These boards don't belong to these people. They belong to you and me, the people. But you've got to show up to remind them of that, guys. So we need you. So that's what the meeting that was supposed to happen on Thursday, which did not happen. Gosh, it was a busy week for me, I'll tell you. And then I think I shared with you guys about, I told you NAPO has the last hearing on Tuesday. I wanted to go back and review something really quick. All right. So the last time where they discussed on the November 18th Thornton Township meeting, on that day, at that meeting, that was when the township board voted on the tentative tax levy. Okay. So that's when they voted on the tentative tax levy. And then I had asked some questions, if you remember, at the meeting about that. Let's see, what did I say?
And I didn't see anything online. I don't see any packets here as far as, detailed information as far as what bills were paid and numbers. So FOIA requests, a lot of information as well. And then under new business, it talks about the tax levy. Now I'm wondering, does that mean our taxes are going up, but it's staying under the, I think 5% or something, or whatever, if it stays under that, you don't need a special hearing. But again, the agenda doesn't really specify anything. I wasn't able to find anything. So how much are our taxes increasing by? I'm going to assume, since it doesn't say anything, that our taxes are going up. And then we still have the issue with the supervisor's salary, which everybody knows. They've gotten their property tax reports and people are really upset. Taxes are really, really, really bad. So anything that this board can do, including reducing the supervisor's salary or reducing other expenses, would really help, because people are just barely able to hang on paying their taxes, as we've been saying for quite a while. I have not received any emails or calls from anyone on the board, so we don't really have any answers. I haven't heard anything. Haven't really read any answers. Lansing Journal usually has pretty good coverage, but I haven't.
Yeah. So anyway, so I did mention it and I asked about Okay, so it's on the record. Let me see, because Ito Quebec says, whatever you're going to say, they're never going to give you an answer. Right. So we know that by now. That's how this board behaves. But that's okay, because it's still, we're still able to at least put things on the public record. And that is important. And that's why I tell people these meetings are not a waste of time. Come, speak up, be on the record, because as well, when we're trying to, let's say, complain to authorities, file different complaints and things and get things investigated. One of the big things that authorities are going to look for, just like they did with Tiffany, is they're going to say, oh, well, did anybody mention this to the board? Like in the past, whatever complaint that we might have. So it is important to actually go on record. No, going home to your spouse or your kids or your neighbors and complaining on Facebook or, at the coffee table or whatever you're doing at the dining room table, that does not count. There's a time and a place for that. I'm not saying it's good to talk things over with people, but you have to come and be counted at these meetings, because if you don't share your complaint publicly in some form or fashion, and I know they try to limit and they make public comment difficult sometimes, but if you don't at least try, there's no one's going to say, oh yeah, I went on Facebook and I can see, I can see that, Miss Sheila was unhappy about this, blah, 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 because she posted on her personal page. Like I said, there's a place for that, and social media is great. Don't get me wrong, but like, at least try, come and bring a little 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that says, lower my taxes. Like, how hard is it to do that? You can say, hey, I went to a meeting. I even held up a little sheet of paper. You don't have to hold it up the whole time, but like, everybody can do something, right? Not everyone doesn't have to do, each person does not have to do everything, but every person can do something to protest and fight and try to improve things, because otherwise you just wait long enough and keep complaining at home, but doing nothing about it, and I guarantee you will be taxed out of your home. Especially in South Cook County, you will be taxed out of your home. People have got to show up and have got to get engaged. However you can do it, figure out a way to do it. How do you do with all the literature and propaganda that you put out when you run for office? How do you do with all the literature? Okay, I don't know. Quick, specify. What do you mean about that? I don't understand what you're trying to tell us. All right, so before we listen to what NAPO said that meeting, okay, about the proposed levy, I want us to look at the law. So let's take a look at the law. What does this law say? Okay, so this is called the Illinois Truth in Taxation Law. All right. So it starts off with some definitions. Legislative purpose. The purpose of this law is to require taxing districts to disclose by publication and to hold a public hearing on their intention to adopt an aggregate levy in amounts more than 105% of the amount of property taxes extended or estimated to be extended, including any amount abated by the taxing district prior to such extension, upon the final aggregate levy of the preceding year. Let's go look up aggregate levy again. It says the annual corporate levy of the taxing district and those special purpose levies which are made annually, other than debt service levies and levies made for the purpose of paying amounts to. Okay, cool, yeah. So it's basically how much money we're having to pay to these boards. So the law you're going to see is definitely much more demanding if the levy is increasing by more. The aggregate levy increases by more than 105%. Estimate of taxes to be levied: not less than 20 days prior to the adoption of its aggregate levy, hereafter referred to as levy. The corporate authority of each taxing district shall determine the amounts of money exclusive of any portion of that levy attributable to the cost of conducting an election required by the general election law. Here, okay. Yeah, we don't care about that. So basically, they're supposed to, you're supposed to get like an estimate, of like, okay, this is what the new levy should be. Let's see, extension. What does it say? Okay, yeah, that doesn't really, I'm not interested in that. Oh, if they want to do more than 5% increase, notice and hearing is required. If the estimate of the corporate authority made as provided, blah, 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 is more than 105% of the amount extended or estimated to be extended, okay, but we don't care about the abatements, okay. The corporate, this is what we need to know, okay? The corporate authority shall give public notice of and hold a public hearing on its intent to adopt an aggregate levy amount which is more than 105% of the amount extended, okay? The hearing shall not coincide with the hearing on the proposed budget of the taxing district, so they have to be separate. A school board shall get, School board shall give public notice of and hold a public hearing on its intent to amend a certificate of tax levy under section blah, 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 blah. Notice, place of publication. Okay. So then the notice that is if, you know, the tax increase is going to be more than 5%, right? Or 5% or more, I should say. Okay, it says you got to publish it in a newspaper. If you have a website, you got to put up the website for a period of not less than 30 consecutive days. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Time and form of notice. The notice shall not appear, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Notice if adopted levy exceeds proposed levy. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. If the final aggregate tax levy resolution or ordinance adopted is more than 105% of the amount exclusive. Okay. Oh, interesting. I never noticed that. The corporate authority. So let's say, you know, they give us an estimate and they say, okay, well, we think this is what the new tax levy will be, you know, but then when they actually go to vote on it, it's more than a 5% increase. It's saying that the board shall give public notice of its action within 15 days of the adoption of the levy in the following form. Okay. Okay. So they have to give some kind of notice. Man, that's what we need. We need a tax cap. I heard they have one in Indiana next door. They have like a property tax cap. Oof. Okay, that doesn't really apply. Yeah, and that's about it. So basically, you know, I hope that helps give just kind of a general idea of like, well, what is that law or what is it talking about? Have to catch the rest and replay. Good night, everyone. Okay, Bienvenue, early night for you. Good night, Wyoming gal. Chris Moore. He does have property out there, but those are alleged accusations. Right, exactly. Or you're talking about the stuff with Keith Price. Right, yeah. You know, you'd have to have proof if you're going to say that some wrongdoing's done. You do have to have proof. Okay, so we're going to go back to the 18th. All right. So here we are. Sorry. Add. Awful. To rate your experience with YouTube ads. I hate them. Oops, sorry, hold on 1 second. I'm just getting it queued up for us here. Okay, I think this is the point that I wanted to find. Okay. All right, so remember, November 18th, township meeting. Talking tax.
These resolutions will fulfill the requirements under the state law contained in full compliance and proceed. I'm going to ask for approval of resolution 25-R-006, a resolution of Thornton Township for.
Okay, no, that wasn't it. Where was it? Hold on one second. Let's look in the if you haven't taken a moment to please like, share, and subscribe. I could use that. I'm still way behind. I haven't shared my Patreon stuff. Okay, it's around 17 minutes, right? Let's see. That's right. They voted on the bills, but I wanted to find. Oh, okay. I was right there. Okay. So, because remember, I'd asked in my, in the public comment about like, are taxes going to go up or not?
General fund and the general assistance fund. And just to be clear, we're not, over the last year, we're keeping the same tax levy that we've had over the past couple of years. So we're not increasing any more than what was already there on the floor. So this time I'll ask the board what.
Okay, so just remember that. He said it's not going to increase, right? It's not going to increase. So then we're going to go to the Lansing Journal. And when the Lansing Journal FOIA'd to see if that was true or not, what do you guys think? Do you think that Napoleon told the truth or not? What do you think? I was responding in regards to them not putting out any bulletins or making the meeting public. The meeting public? Oh yeah, you're behind on the stream. Okay, yeah, no problem, Crook. That's fine. So what do you think? What do you think, viewers? Do you think Napo told the truth or not? How much do you want to bet? Let's check him. Let's see. Oh, good. A South Holland resident who grew up in Harvey said, "Thank you for sharing the arrest. She had been wondering about this." I'll say, "You're welcome." Good. Yeah. No, I was happy to hear that too, Mm-hmm. All right. So let us go to we are going to take a look for ourselves, because you always need to do that. Don't trust. Always ask questions and look for the proof yourself. That's very important. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this is after they unfortunately no numbers were available that night on November 18th, but I don't know how long it took, maybe a week or more, week, 2 weeks or whatever. But eventually they got the information about the estimated levy, okay, that the board had passed on November 18th, and this is what it said. Okay, so this is one of the resolutions. This refers to the general fund and the general assistance fund. Did I put it up there? Yes, I did. Okay. General fund. Oh, sorry, it's not letting me highlight. That's okay. So, so first, what I do kind of is, okay, if we go down here, it says the total amount of taxes extended for 2024 tax year. Because remember, in Illinois, we always assess taxes 1 year in arrears. So that's why, if you're confused, that's why. So, the 2024 taxes get assessed and paid in 2025. And then, we're voting on the 2025 levy because it gets assessed and it gets paid in 2026. So that's just how it is in Illinois. But anyway, if we look at the figure right here, oh man, I wish this damn thing is not letting me highlight. Oh, that's going to bug me. But anyway, right here, okay, if you can you see the cursor? Let me go back to this thing. Can you see me? What if I wiggle the cursor around there? Can you see it? I don't know. Well, anyway. So there's a figure here that says, I'll zoom in. How about that? Here we go. 2024, $21,265,235. Okay. Now, remember, let's say if you're, you could be, 3 years old, right? Or whatever. You're just learning your numbers. Let's go up here. It says aggregate 2025 levy. That's the year after. That includes the general assistance fund and the general fund. That is $22,115,845. So what do you notice between these two? That's an increase of almost $1 million, right? Okay. So Napoleon lied. I don't know if that's what you predicted, but he lied because the tax levy is increasing. So yeah, that's increasing. Now that's just those two funds. Now let's also go to, and then we see it said Byron Stanley made the motion, Mary Avant seconded it, and then it shows, remember how, they never ask any questions, it's always unanimous. So let's go to the Road and Bridge Fund for 2024. The Road and Bridge Fund was, where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. For 2024, Road and Bridge Fund was 888,000. Oops. I'm sorry. Did I? Oh, I zoomed on the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. Let me go back. $888,301. For 2025, the aggregate 2025 levy, $923,833. So, I mean, it's going up, right? If it were not increasing, it would say $888,301 right here for 2025. So yes, the supervisor and the board, they lied. They are lying. It's very clear. They're not telling the truth. So please show up and speak up, because this is not okay. This is not okay. So I'm going to play one more time for you in case you, oops, sorry. Wait, let me go to comments first. Why couldn't the clerk, chief of staff, or a trustee tell the Lansing Journal how much of an increase they approved last month? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it took them so long. It was very strange. Like, why wouldn't, to me, all that should be on the website ahead of time, before the meeting. No one should have to FOIA. I shouldn't have to FOIA. Another journalist or community member shouldn't have to FOIA. All that should be on the website, public, and it should be there ahead of time so people know before they go to a meeting. Because otherwise, how can we even respond? And we don't know. And it didn't say on the agenda either. Weird. Idro says, how can we ask Antoine Russell? How can we ask Antoine Russell how he will spend the extra $35,000? Golf in Naperville? Good question. Yeah, Eaglewood Spa and golf. Exactly. That's a great question, Paul. Maybe bring that up on what do you call it? Tuesday night. So, Mandy, you were able to join. I know I sent you the link because I figure you're usually up on Sunday evening. But I agree 100%. Why lie about something that's going to be public knowledge? There's just no. Let's just tell the truth. Let's just be honest. Let's be straightforward. Especially if people are always saying, "Oh, but and Napo and Clark don't like each other." Da, da, da. Well, okay, that's good. I'm not saying maybe Napoleon and his crew can put some pressure on Clark. I mean, that's great, but it's not going to make him or Dots or anybody on that team or anyone on that board look good or have any sort of legitimacy if they want to criticize any other leaders like Chris Clark if they're doing the same thing. I mean, at least they plan on passing a levy, I guess, before the end of the year, so it's a little bit better than Clark, but still. I totally agree, man. Yeah, it's almost like, did they not expect anyone in Thornton Township, since Tiffany's gone, did they not expect anyone to ask, to actually check to see if the taxes were to be increased? So let's go back in case you just joined us or in case you didn't believe that happened. And I'm going to share this again. Let's listen to what the supervisor said. Okay. In case you missed it.
We're not over the last year, we're keeping the same tax levy that we've had over the past couple of years. So
we're keeping the same tax levy. Now, I will tell you a trick that I've learned from other people in politics. So a lot of times when leaders say they're keeping the same levy, what they mean, they're lying, but what they mean is that they're going to increase it by the same rate. Okay, so if we do the calculation, if you go back to those numbers that I showed you, if you do the calculation between those two levies for the township for 2024 and then 2025, they want to increase each of those by about 4%. So sometimes boards will say that, or politicians will say that, and they're not expecting you, like Amanda said, they're not expecting you to check the numbers or check their work. They're like lying, but it's like a half truth sort of, because they're like, oh, it'll be the same, wink wink, but they may mean by the same, they might mean it's the same rate of increase, but that's not the truth, right? It's not the truth. So again, they're both funds are both levies are set to go up by 4%. Listen to his comments again and see if you think that he told the truth. I don't think he did. I think it was clearly a lie, but you listen and see what you think.
we're keeping the same tax levy that we've had over the past couple of years. So we're not increasing any more than what was already there on the floor. So this time,
also, I find it's interesting. He said we are not increasing it any more than was already here on the floor. What was on the floor? No numbers were ever discussed during that meeting or shown on the agenda. So, I mean, again, we weren't able to, as residents, we didn't even know what they were voting on. We had no idea. Well, when you need Jedi to do your shady business, you're near the end. Yeah, I know. I hope a lot of these boards are going to be starting to be held accountable. But yes, Clark is number one for sure. But I'm just saying, because every once in a while people say, oh, Brian, well, you don't want to distract, you shouldn't try to hurt. Maybe you might be hurting Colby or hurting, the effort to get rid of Clark because, NAPO doesn't like Clark. And so, that's good. He'll help. But I mean, I get that. But at the same time, like, is this really that much better? And if someone like Napoleon and Dots and these people, if they lie so much, even if they may oppose Chris Clark at times, are we really going to trust them that they're going to actually help put anything or anyone better in place? So we've got to be really careful. I'm not saying that you can't, we can work with anyone, right? Like, I appreciate that, Keith Price and I have not always agreed on things. But I appreciate that he is trying to hold the McCaskills accountable for their misbehavior and the things that they're trying to do at the Harvey Library and the Harvey Park District. Yeah, I just you just got to be careful. You don't want to be unequivocally endorsing someone. But I've heard quite a few people say that about NAPO, that they're like, oh, but I don't want to criticize him because I really want Chris Clark to go. And I'm like, but why do you have to choose between one or the other? Like Napoleon does not care about Harvey. He never has, and he's not going to all of a sudden. Remember his mentor, Napoleon's mentor. How many times do I have to tell you guys this? Napoleon's number one mentor in politics. From all of what my sources tell me, and from what you see, he himself has said, is Eric Kellogg, one of the most corrupt mayors in U.S. history. Eric Kellogg. That's Napoleon's mentor. And then you saw his godmother, female mentor, Nina Graham. You saw her yell at me and falsely accuse me of being racist, and then have a guy come up and try to attack me physically, provoke a physical fight after the last township meeting. So if those people are the mentors for Napoleon Harris, is that someone that you really trust? Is that someone that you want to say, but I don't want to say anything against Napoleon because he's speaking out against Chris Clark, and Chris Clark's so bad. Well, yeah, Chris Clark is so bad. But I mean, I can think of people that are also against Chris Clark who are not so bad as far as what they do themselves. So I'm just saying, don't let anyone tell you cannot ask questions, and don't let anyone silence you. Don't let anyone tell you what to think. That is the most important thing that I can teach. If I were to die today. That's what I want everyone to know. You have to use your brain. You have to be independent. You've got to be independent. And if you do something wrong, no one or nothing is going to protect you. You're not going to be excused or protected because you said, oh, I just did what someone else. I did it because Napoleon did it, and I thought he was kind of, against Clark, and Clark's really bad. He's really bad. So, therefore I didn't say anything when Napoleon did XYZ or when this other person did XYZ, or I just went along with it because that's what the Democratic Party told me to do. That doesn't work. See, that's where I admire people like Monet Wilson, who, remember, she was going to run for Thornton Township committeeman, and I was very excited because she has been at great expense to her. She and Yoda Figs and some others in Calumet City have been outspoken against the horrible behavior and misbehavior of what's his name, Thaddeus Jones, mayor of Calumet City and state rep. So I respect that, that she has stood up for what's right, and she's been trying to protect Calumet City taxpayers and residents. But, I don't blame her. She decided to be independent and leave the Democratic Party because she's put so much of money, time, and effort into trying to do the right thing. And at the end of the day, whenever she would run for different things, who the Democratic machine always backs? Thaddeus Jones, Christopher Clark, Napoleon Harris, I mean, could you blame her for not being happy with that? So I was disappointed because I wanted to vote for her for committeeman, but I understand and I wish her well and I respect her independence, and she is still running against Thaddeus Jones for state rep. So she definitely gets my my vote. I'm not in her district, but gets my support. So yeah, please come out Tuesday, as Paul said. Please come out Tuesday. And if you're afraid, we'll be there. I plan on being there. I know Paul will be there. You don't have, if you're really that scared, okay, you don't have to say anything. If you're kind of in between and you're kind of scared, but you should show up, but you don't want to talk, like I said, hold up an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that says lower my taxes. Now that's not hard to do. And you don't have to hold it up your head. You don't have to yell and scream. You don't have to wait. You know what I mean? But at some point, guys, you've got to get off your derrière, as the French say, because I guarantee you will be taxed out of your home. You will. No one will come to save you. No one is coming to swoop down to be your savior. You have to speak up. And I don't care if you say, well, it's not going to do any good if I go to a meeting, or I'm too shy, or I'm too busy. Well, you know what? That tax bill doesn't care. And these boards, they don't care. They will continue squeezing us for all that we are worth. And unless you speak up, no matter who you are, you have to make your voice heard. And you have to know that your voice is powerful. So if nothing else, if I died today, I want you to know your voice is powerful, and don't let anybody silence you or stop you from asking questions. So, I hope that makes sense. What will it take to get a significant part of the public to oppose the township administration? Another FBI investigation, a sex scandal, 3 more critical news spots on Chicago TV station? Right. Yeah, good question, Paul. Yeah. At this point, I have a few questions for all the folks that were so outspoken against Tiffany, but now are being quiet. Have you been given a job? Is that why? Were you bribed with a job? Is that why you're quiet? Were you, are you scared? Are you intimidated? Are you fatalistic, nihilistic? Like, oh, nothing's ever gonna change. Why should I even bother? Being a pessimist about it. Like, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you need to get over it. Even if you got a job or you're getting some money out of it. Like I said, look how these people behave. They lie, cheat, and steal every chance they get. Do you really think that they're not going to turn on you if the moment they think that they can get something from it? You're not safe. I don't care if you got a job at the township or in Dalton or whatever. You are not safe from these people, and don't dare deceive yourself and think you are. The biggest question is why there's no response to our questions. Right, exactly. And I've said that to Clark for years now, because I used to support Mayor Clark, and no, we don't really get answers from him either. But the question is always, if you are so good, if you are as good as you claim, and you're such a great leader, why would you go to such lengths to intimidate and obfuscate? That's a great word. And hide information that should already be public. We shouldn't even have to ask you, let alone FOIA. We shouldn't have to ask. We shouldn't have to FOIA. All that stuff should just be online already. So if you were so great, if you were such a huge improvement over Tiffany, why don't you answer questions? Why did you repeal that image ordinance? Why did you rig a state law on Crohn's disease, Mr. Harris, so that you could get this huge salary at our expense? I mean, it's crazy. I guess they need the taxes to increase in order for NAPO to keep getting his big salary. And there's so much administrative bloat in on this board, and at the township. So it's pretty crazy, y'all. But yeah, that's the big thing happening Tuesday. I don't know. Does anybody know of anything or see anything happening Monday? I don't know of anything. It's crazy. Library board and township are on Tuesday. NAPO's hearings at 12. My hearing with Jed is Thursday afternoon. Amir's hearings Friday afternoon, and then Colby is hosting the Christmas event on Saturday. That's it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Did I forget anything, you guys? Let me take a look. Take a look on Facebook too to see if anything that was recently shared, if I forgot anything. Chicago Southland politics. Don't forget about that page. I know I need to pick a new I need to have like a proper picture for it. But I started this one as an alternative to all the lies and defamation and just mass negativity that was on the Dalton Politics page. So it's a forum that I started, but please use it. Differing ideas are welcome. You can support and oppose policies all you want, but we just don't. I just don't go for insults and defamation and lies. It's got to be something substantive. I know some people a few people have posted some stuff for Jesse Jackson Jr. I know. Okay, we went over what I thought about the hearing last week. Oh yeah, here, see. Another thing for Jesse Jackson Jr. I don't know. I haven't decided who I'm going to vote for on that. South Holland thing we saw. Oh, this look. I might as well mention this since we're talking Southland. I'm so proud of Monet Wilson and Yoda Figs and some of those folks in Calumet City. They have been working while everybody was making such a big show over Tiffany. They were going through hell in Calumet City under Thaddeus Jones and getting no attention or help. And look at this. This is a huge breakthrough, you guys. I'm so happy for the Southland. She says, notice of council action. On Thursday, December 18th, the City Council will meet to take the necessary steps to retain independent legislative counsel. Needing legislative counsel is not ideal, but it becomes necessary when actions by the executive branch raise serious concerns and erode public trust, particularly involving the use of public funds. So what she means is that, I'll just keep reading. Currently, the city's corporate attorneys, Ansel Glink, same attorney firm that the Speaker of the House, Chris Welch, works for, and the same firm that represents a lot of public boards. It represents Harvey as well. So they're appointed by and they serve at the discretion of the mayor. That structure limits the council's ability to receive independent legal guidance when performing oversight and legislative duties. As alderpersons, we need legal counsel who work for the city council as a body, provide timely and truthful answers, keep us informed of legal matters affecting the city, and act in the best interest of the residents of Calumet City. I've raised serious concerns and requested information regarding alleged ghost payroll and the use of city credit cards for flights, hotels, high-end restaurants, football games, baseball games, and trips involving the mayor, his family, friends, and select employees. Many of those requests have gone unanswered. That's not acceptable when taxpayer dollars and public trust are involved. This step is about good governance, checks and balances, and ensuring the people's representatives have the tools needed to do our jobs responsibly. We have a unanimous council consensus to move forward. 6 out of 7 alderpersons signed the special meeting agenda. One was out of town, but aware of the meeting on Thursday. The meeting's open to the public, and any questions can be made here or asked directly to your elected representative. Oh, and I do want to go. I'm supposed to shoot. I think I have something else that night. But the reason why this is such a good thing is, oh, and then here they have the actual form. Look at that. Look at that. City Council Special Ordinance and Resolutions Committee meeting of the whole will be Thursday at 6. Actually, maybe I could come because what time is my thing on Thursday? Maybe I could do that. I don't know. I'll have to look. But regardless, they're going to have some public comment. Oh, email. You shouldn't have to email public comment ahead of time. I don't like that, though. But anyway, legislative council, okay? And then, like she said, look at all those people. And some of these people ran with Thaddeus Jones, with Mayor Thaddeus Jones. So I'm so pleased that it seems like they're finally waking up and realizing, like, we better get on the right side here, okay? So the board actually tried that under Mayor Clark in his first term. There were people on the board that, trying to think, Tyrone Rogers, Dominic Randall L., who are on the board now, but then also Marshawn Tolbert. They did not like what Chris was doing, Chris Clark, and so they were trying to get to hire legislative counsel. Basically, that just means the aldermen want a lawyer, okay? They want legal counsel because typically, especially in these strong mayor sorts of governments, if the mayor wants to just really be a dick about things, the mayor will use the corporate counsel for the city as like their personal defense attorney. And then that's what happens with Jones and Cal City, and then Chris Clark and Harvey. It happens with a lot of boards. You see the McCaskills doing it actually on the library and parks as well. So good job, you guys. And then the other thing I think I mentioned was Colby's post, because and then because I shared in that Thornton Township group, but then Sonia made a comment. I did respond to it. Maybe she didn't understand, because she said, well, why would you want to, something like, why would Colby want to increase the taxes? But you've got, every year the boards must vote on a tax levy if you want your taxes to be to be taken, so that the board can use the taxes. So whether they increase or not, that's separate. You know what I mean? But if you don't vote for any levy, then you're not going to get any taxes. That happened last year with Tiffany in the township. So Colby Chapman says, well, the public was required to be notified by the 10th, okay, because there's no confirmation. Like, we've got to have, public notice, to file with the clerk, city council review and approval. So what's happening? Because December 30th is the deadline, and we don't have any. There's no tax levy passed, and there's no, what's the other thing you need? An appropriations bill. So I don't know, hang tight. We'll see what happens with that. If you haven't already, like I said, please like, share, and subscribe, and also sign our petition. You do not have to live in, oh man, I didn't save it. I thought I saved it. Okay, that's right. Let me copy the link. But sign the petition calling for Mr. Clark to resign. We do not need him in office. We even have a Facebook group. Did I show you guys the Facebook group? Mayor. It's called Mayor Clark Must Resign Now. All right, so I will put this link in the chat. This is calling for Clark to immediately resign and calling for a forensic audit. So I think we made 50. That was our first goal, or our most recent goal, 50. I think we're approaching 60 signers. But yeah, our next goal will probably be like 75 or 100. So thank you for those of you that have signed. You can choose to keep your name anonymous, and then you can also put some comments, some public comments if you'd like those shared. So that's all I have, unless anybody else has anything else, Paul, or anybody else in the chat, anything to add? Okay. Well, we'll all talk soon, and bonne nuit for now. Should I give you guys a little French word for Christmas? You know, I miss it. Was always fun in December. We get to teach some Christmas vocabulary. How about Christmas tree, since I have it in my background? That is Christmas tree in French is l'arbre de Noël. So there you go. There's your French word for the night. L'arbre. Oh, I misspelled it. I'm so sorry. L'arbre. French, if you're still on, I'm surprised you didn't notice. L'arbre de Noël. L'arbre de Noël is Christmas tree. So there you go. Is your French word. Prayer Authority Network. Hey, thanks for stopping in. I'm just getting ready to head out unless you wanted to add anything. Prayer Authority Network. So there you go. There's your French word, your French Christmas word for the season. L'arbre de Noël is Christmas tree. In the meantime, restez chaud à la maison. Peut-être buvez du chocolat chaud. Stay warm at home. Maybe drink some hot chocolate. And if you like thrillers, there is there's a really good, I think it's a Swiss French thriller called, I'm giving you a movie to watch. You know when it's cold and you don't want to go out? It's called Merci Chocolat. So if you're a fan of thrillers, it's called Merci pour le chocolat. And le chocolat can also, it can mean just like chocolate, but also like in the case of this movie, it's basically short for hot chocolate. And yeah, if you, like I said, if you like thrillers, you'll like it. It has to do with like driving in dark nights with a very mysterious woman on if you've ever been to Switzerland, there are lots of mountains and valleys, so it's like very mountainous, and you know, I'll just let you explore from there. Oh, of course, now that I'm just going to sign off, now I'm having people come on. That's okay. No apologies, says Brian, I haven't received my FOIA. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And that's not surprising. Now, remember, if you did send a FOIA to the city of Harvey, they have 5 business days to answer. If they do not respond within 5 business days, just immediately appeal to, you can send your original message and appeal to the public access counselor. So don't wait. And I'll even, let me see if I have my email open. I'll post the, hold on. So if you sent an email, a FOIA in to Harvey or wherever, and they didn't answer within 5 business days, you can just immediately start an appeal with the public access counselor using that email address, public.access@ilag.gov. Yeah. And yeah, for all you thriller people, like I said, check out Merci pour le chocolat. I think you will love it. Vous allez adorer. You're going to check it out, Hydro? And Hydro, you can give me a good Québécois, I don't know, whatever, something to watch. What's a Québécois Christmas classic, Hydro? You don't have to tell me now, but if you think of something, let me know. I'll try to watch it. Un film classique de Noël québécois. I miss it, you guys. I have not been on vacation probably since pre-COVID. I want a vacation. It's been so long now. It's okay. Bac et bottine. Bottine, that definitely sounds like like Québécois for sure. I wrote the public access counselor last week about a delayed Thornton Township FOIA request for all invoices this year to law firms. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. That's good, Paul. I hope that they respond. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't be shy. I bug them all the time. I bug them all the time. All the time. La guerre des tucs. Oh, okay. Oh, look at Hydro. You are full of these. Okay. Merci. On the 12th, I got another subscriber denial because no such account exists. The city does not have any bank statements responsive to your request. You know, that's what Glynis got too. And so what I advised her to do when they say, sometimes they try these things where they'll use like a very specific or narrow name. And she said, but Ryan, look on the bills list. It says there are different account names and one of them is general fund. And I said, you know what? Resend it off to Harvey and say, according to your bills list, this is the name of the account. And if you can't find that, then send me, send me the account statement for whatever, and then describe maybe the expenses you want. Yeah, they're really a pain. La Guerre des Tucs is a classic. They deny my request because no such account exists in the city. Yeah, yep, they will try that. They won't release the info before Tuesday's meetings. Remember when Mary Avant mentioned what the township attorney charged and told him to? Oh, no, I don't. We should find that video, Paul. They won't release the info before. Oh, that would be a great video to find. Yeah. And why is Mary not speaking up now? We got to go back and people need to start sharing their videos from the last few years of with Tiffany and all these people who were so vocal and be like, where are they? Like, where's Dan Lee? Dan, where are you, Dan? You would speak up. Valerie Stiles, Mary Avant. I don't know who else. Other people. Everybody's gotten so quiet now. Okay. All right. Is that officially it? Anything else? Anything else before? I didn't want to rush since you just came on, Diana. Now the township hires 2 law firms. One gets $5,000 a month just for preparing meeting agendas and packets. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I know that they voted on the one they hired Ladazinski to do the one of the cases, right? So who else is it? So it's Steve. Wait, does Steve Ledizinski? Does he? Oh yeah, no, you're right, because he's Bert Olson has. They're separate firms, right? Yeah, I think Steve Ledizinski's in his own firm. Yeah, no, you're asking the right questions, Paul, for sure. I did. Oh, you're gonna watch the replay. Okay, awesome. No apologies. I did want to mention too, just briefly. Hold on. Just a quick heads up. I'm glad I remembered this. So remember the township board, they approved that the estimated tax levy on November 18th, but we didn't see anything that night. We didn't see any of the numbers or anything until I think the earliest was December 4th, right? Because that was the meeting, that was the date for the article that where the Lansing Journal shared the actual estimated tax levy numbers. So that left a pretty short window for residents to even review it, and something that directly affects their property taxes. So that's one of the issues that I will be raising at the December 16th meeting. But I just wanted to mention that. Lots of questions that need to get asked. Bert Olson gets a $5K a month just for meetings, but hasn't attended the meetings. Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say, isn't Steve has his own firm? He doesn't work for Bert, does he? But I did see Bert Olson and Steve Ledizinski at the objection meeting. That I was kind of shocked. I'm like, it's expensive. So I guess Naples is paying. And if of course, I wanted to ask, is Napoleon paying for both of those same attorneys that are using the township? Is he paying with our money or with his own money? Because Bert Olson and Steve Ledizinski are not cheap. They're very expensive lawyers. So Napo better not be defending his petitions with our tax money. Okay, guys. Thank you again so much. Stay warm, and we'll talk soon. Oh, you know what I should close out with? I don't know if I have any right now. I was gonna say I should close out with a little French holiday song. Let me see. Oh, this is my wrong. I'm like, this doesn't have all my French songs. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll play a little bit of that to close us out. I like that. We know it as Angels. Angels we have heard on high. It is a French carol called Les Anges dans nos campagnes, the angels in our countryside. I guess you could translate it as Joyeux Noël.
Vieni,
this one. Okay, that's nice. I'm glad I thought of a little Christmas too. And with that, we will say peace on earth. Remember, peace on earth can't come unless you fight for it. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bonne nuit. Joyeux Noël.